All right, it is Sunday, the 2nd of November. How's it going, local swell trackers? GQ dropping in for you from the all-new Surf News Network. Thanks for being here. This is hindcasting back last Sunday. We've had an entire week of northwest to northeast swell, a ton. This was the start of it right here with the system that's heading into the Gulf. It was fairly near the islands, and it stuck around for a while. It did move over to the east, and then that northwest swell veered northeast from this portion, but then another fetch came down from above the Aleutians and moved over to the east as well, and we had this fetch sending most of its energy off to the east, but we did get plenty of sideband swell from this guy. You can see the high pressures that have been dominating for this time of year and keeping the trade winds moderate to fresh paced and even northeasterly for some parts of the week. So this fetch here did send us some swell, and it did peak out at 7 feet, I would say, and the high pressure we have a 1-2 punch. This one's moving over to the east, as you can tell through time. A long fetch up here going zonal or west to east up by the west Aleutians, and some spinners up here in the Bering Sea. We saw some swell from this, again, that northerly angle. Now, taking a look, Sunday the 2nd, I wanted to show you here before this current hindcasting model from Storm Surf goes. We have a giant typhoon over here called Nuri. And that's going to be hitting Japan here and recurving, getting absorbed into the low pressures, tracking up here in the jet stream next week, and we could be looking at some big waves. We also have a hurricane over here named Vance moving east and heading towards Mexico. I'll get to the current models, but I wanted to show you that the tropics are very active. Now, why is this one called a typhoon and this one called a hurricane? Well, this 180 date line makes all the difference. It's just a matter of geography. If you're on this side of the date line, we call them hurricanes. Anytime winds get 65 knots and up. This one over here, a typhoon, and obviously much bigger, sending tons of waves to the Philippines, which is where I wish I was. Okay, so bringing the models current, here is Nuri. Over here is Vance. We're sitting in a ton of high pressures. There is an upper level low spinning off here to our south-southwest about 400 miles, creating the instability in the atmosphere. Lots of clouds, isolated rain embedded in those trade winds. You don't see it because this is a surface level activity here. So a big high pressure here moving east. It's going to be pushed down due to a front, and I'll show you that in a second. There's a new high pressure moving into the area. Though we'll see the trades lighten up on Tuesday, we'll see them freshen back up at the end of next week thanks to a new high pressure. Now let's click in those animations and watch the track here of Nuri hitting Japan here midweek to the end of next week. It looks to me like Vance is going to weaken before reaching the tip of Baja, but it is going to hit Mexico. Now we're going to take a look outside of the tropics, which sits 20 degrees north of the equator and 20 degrees south of the equator, these two systems. And we're going to go up here and take a look at this winter caliber system that's trying to get out of behind the Kuriles Islands, and it does here eventually pop out right there. That should be sending us up some waves for this upcoming weekend. Hopefully we'll see some 3 to 5, maybe 6-foot waves out of that Saturday, and possibly bigger on Sunday the 9th. Now I draw your attention to Nuri that becomes a gender bender, moves from a warm core system into a cold core system and retracts and becomes a whomper system way up here past the date line as it crosses. Huge seas and winds. This has the capability of bringing 18-second forerunners to us on Monday the 10th, ramping up to 10 feet on Tuesday the 11th at this point in time. These are tough to forecast, but take a look at that puppy. And then we got a little follow-up right behind it. So the North Shore is going to be giving us some of those classic big fat northwest swells. And oftentimes they do come from these typhoons that start off the Philippines and recurve and absorb into the North Pacific system. And sure enough, here's another typhoon. I don't think that one's going to be as big. We also have another tropical system peering into the picture November 10th. And we'll have to wait and see. Whenever you go beyond 6-7 days, the model forecast confidence goes way down. All right, we've had an active season, especially looking at the calendar from down under. Things will be quieting down after the next couple systems I'm going to be showing you. Going back a week, There was a fetch off to the southeast of New Zealand due to this spinner here far to the southeast, and this will be bringing us up to 1 to 2.5 feet Monday. Nothing special, but definitely keeping it from beyond Mill Pond Flat. It'll have some 14 to 15 seconds in it. Starting in the loops, you can see that fetch still lasts here into Tuesday, again for that waist to chest high through midweek. Now taking a look here, we have a Tasman sea source from last Tuesday, and this guy right here should be bumping us up to 2 to 3 feet, though it's going to be super long lulls. We should see some 18-second forerunners Tuesday, should be bumping up to 1 to 3 feet Wednesday into Thursday, and lingering even into Friday from the southwest. And there's a couple more 1 foot 15-second swell pulses all the way into the following week, but nothing over 2 feet. All right, now take a look at this. We were talking about a week ago when we had a Taz sea storm, and we have another one here for Sunday. Now, its movement is west to east, or what we call zonal, and so it's not going to be as direct as the last one. However, we may see some pulses from that system here the following Sunday, the 9th or 10th, and maybe some 2-foot sets spotted here and there. Now, take a look. A lot of blues off to the east of New Zealand that are increasing. Now, this is starting to look like their austral summer, and things are going now to what they should be, which is near Mill Pond Flat, and that'll be from the middle of November on. Okay, let's take a look at the jet stream. Kind of broken up here, but there's a lot of dips down towards the equator, and then the jet really fattens up and dips down below again on us over the course of the next 7 days, dropping, consolidating, allowing Nuri to merge into the systems up in the central Aleutians, and probably pulling in some 10-foot surf for us. We'll have to wait and see. As I said, confidence is low, but definitely a heads up. Looking good for the Vans Triple Crown or an epic finish to the HIC Pro if they want to wait that long to the end of the holding period. So again, the jet, not great right now, but starts to improve through the course of the 7-day forecast. And then down under, completely broken to shreds. The jet stream down under it will not be happening. So over the next 10 days or so, grab what little south swell you can. Okay, taking a look at the hand-drawn surface charts, that big high pressure moving to the east-southeast, and we have a front that's approaching us for the Garden Island, maybe a little bit for us. For Monday, Tuesday, some iffy weather. Trades are going to be backing down because these low pressures are pushing the ridge closer to the island, weakening the pressure gradient. This new high is going to fill in and increase our trades back to normal towards the end of the next week, or the upcoming week. Again, a lot of low pressures in the picture. Here's the typhoon over here. We don't see the typhoon on this model right here, but Vance is sure enough heading east, and more of these low pressures will be getting closer and closer to the islands, guaranteed over the next few weeks. Now, let's take a look at the water vapor loop showing features 20,000 feet up. There is that big spinner way off of here, creating instability. There's a big flow in the jet down below, pulling up some upper level high cirrus for the Big Island. For us, and especially Kauai, getting pretty wet and pretty cloudy. This big upper level low is moving out to the west, so the effect of that is going to diminish over the coming days. But what we're going to see is a front nearing the island, bringing in some more weather as a different source of rain and clouds. Again, Kauai getting the brunt of it. All right, taking a look at the cloud cover, very easterly flow to the lower level clouds. The intertropical convergence zone clouds are being pulled up by the high and that low, upper level low that I was showing you earlier. Highs are about 85, lows about 74. Off and on in the weather department, and but plenty of waves on the way for next week. We'll keep you posted and be back here next week. Aloha for now.